Alright, YouTubers, welcome back to War Thunder with the Angry Nerd, and today we will be looking at the American P-36s as we continue our Tier 1 Rank 1 fighter aircraft review. Now the P-36s are directly underneath the P-26s in the American tree. There are three versions: the P-36A, the P-36C, and the P-36G. The P-36A is pretty much worthless. It has the exact same armament as the P-26 M2 version, which is one 50 cal and one 7.62 millimeter machine gun. So it is very lightly armed for Tier 1. Now the P-36C gets 150 cal but three 7.62 millimeter machine guns. So its armament is improved a bit. But by far the best version is the P-36G, which gets two 50 cals and four 7.62 millimeter Browning machine guns. I don't particularly like the P-36 Hawks. I prefer the F-2As over the P-36s, and the only reason is because of the roll rate of the Hawk, which varies considerably during flight. So let's just look at the best version here. The best version of the P-36 is the G version. It's a Rank 1 fighter with a battle rating of 2.0, has a max speed of 366 miles per hour and a 23.2 second turn time. And we discussed the armament of 250 cals and four 7.62 millimeter machine guns. But I want to show you something in a test flight right quick, and that is the variable roll rate. And all aircraft have this, but it is seems to be excessive here in the P-36, which makes me not enjoy flying this particular aircraft. For one, this is one version that there are several aircraft. I have not touched the joystick yet, but you can see that the plane is veering off to the left. It's one of several planes in the game that do this to me, but I can compensate for that. Not great, but I can do that. My issue with the P-36 is its roll rate. Now a roll rate is, I'm going to demonstrate a roll for you right now. Here we go. This is a roll, and you can see that with the P-36 the roll rate is very slow, but it varies based on the speed of the aircraft. So I'm going to slow the aircraft down considerably by reducing the throttle and going into a climb. Now I'm down 160 or so, and the roll rate is better at this speed. But as you increase the speed of your aircraft, now I'm heading on up toward 300. Now watch the roll rate of this. And so when you're in a battle, this lack of roll that the aircraft demonstrates at greater speeds can be very significant, especially if you're up high on your target and you're coming in and you see something, let's just use the vehicle here for an example. If that was another aircraft down below you and you decided that, hey, I want to flip over and make a pass on this aircraft that's crossing down in front of you, and you go to turn over, you know, that's considerably, you could have missed an engagement because of the roll rate of the aircraft. But like I do say, at the slower speeds, the roll rate of the aircraft does increase. So the slower you're going in the dogfights and stuff, the better the roll rate will be with this aircraft. But as the fact that I don't particularly like to keep in, you know, swirling dogfights with a lot of people around me, I like to pick out my targets. There are a lot of times that targets will get away from me simply because I can't bring the guns to bear because of the roll rate of the aircraft. So, that being said, I will exit out of this, and let's go back to the hangar. So if it weren't for that, this P-36G would be a really, really good Tier 1 aircraft. It does turn very tightly. It can outturn a lot of the monoplanes once you get it rolled in the direction you want to go, with a straight back pull on the stick or, you know, mouse or keyboard. It can turn pretty sharp. But you know, if you get a P-36 behind you and you know it's the plane that's attacking you and you've got some speed, just make banking turns, and it will be hard for the person to make those banks with you, and it will allow you to get away from someone who's chasing you in a P-36. So, that being said, my preference for the Americans for Tier 1 is the F4Fs, and then I go for the F2As, and then I go round it out with the P-36s. So I have flown the P-36s just to complete the series, and they probably won't be in my lineup too much. So let's jump into a battle and see what we can do with these aircraft. Alright, well, let's take these P-36s out for a spin. They are my least favorite of the American fighters here in Tier 1. Alright, we picked up Port Ground Strike. And I would have to say that's because of their roll rate. Because the P-36G has decent firepower with 250s and 4 7.62s. But, and this is a problem, it's not necessarily the airplane, but you see the reticle just constantly going to the left. There's several planes in the game now that do this to me since the 1.37. But this is the problem with the P-36s. This incredibly slow roll rate. It is stupendously slow. And if not for that, I would really enjoy these planes, but that is a deal breaker for me. Really is. most of the damage there came from my own team, and that's just pitiful. Just pitiful. So we're going to go after this D3A1. I really need to do better at informing y'all about what I'm doing and not just play. I need to apologize about that. I'm very, very sorry that I get too busy into my own shit and I'm going to see if I can make it back over toward the runway, but I doubt it. It's not looking very good. So we are pretty banged up. So let's see if we can put her on the ground. Oh, that's no good. Hopefully he's going down. He's not. Retract the gear. Because I don't want to get bombed while I'm sitting on the runway. So I might as well put a couple of rounds in the H6K. Alright, now let's put her on the ground. Still going a little fast, but hey. That sucks. 11 seconds before we are repaired. And there we go. Let's get her back in the air so we won't get bombed. Get back in the fight. We got 4 targets down in this game. That F4F looks like somebody I would be interested in going after. But I'll make my decision when I get there. Somebody may present a better target, like maybe this HE112 who has done a zoom through the pile and pulled himself away from the pack a little bit. He's got a much faster roll rate than I do. Somebody is really working me over. Alright, we finally got the HE112 down. I don't know who it is that's beating me up back here. It was a gladiator. But my rudder is toast. Oh no. I'm not going to be able to get out of this one, not with a rudder that's messed up as bad as it is. I should have went back to the airfield before. I'm just going to fly these guys over the airfield and let my AAA work on them a little bit. It looks like they may have turned around and went back to the fight. So that was the P-36 Hawk. And like I say, if it wasn't for that roll rate, I would really like this aircraft. But yeah, that the roll rate really puts it into the unenjoyable to fly category. So I knocked down 5 enemy aircraft, 1 enemy vehicle, lost 0 planes, and I guess since you go back, it must be if you go back to the airfield and repair that you don't get the survivor award or something, but I don't see who else would have gotten it. 7,739 lions. So I hope you enjoyed this quick look at the American P-36s, and if you liked the video, like it. If you didn't, don't. If you'd like to see some particular aircraft, leave me a comment in the comments section, and please subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. Nerd out.